My assignment is on IT security professionals' access to confidential data and the knowledge about companies and the individuals that work for them. Physicians, attorneys, and other professionals whose job duties affect others' lives usually receive, as part of their formal training, courses that address ethical issues common to their professions. IT security professionals often have access to confidential data and knowledge about individuals and the companies they work for. This gives them a great deal of power. That power can be abused, either deliberately or inadvertently, but there are no standardized training requirements for IT security specialists. Associations and organizations for IT pros are beginning to address this side of the job, but again, there is no requirement for IT security personnel to belong to these organizations. Why are guidelines needed? The education and training of IT professionals, including security specialists, usually focuses on technical knowledge and skills. You learn how to perform certain tasks, but there is little consideration of how those abilities can be misused. In fact, many IT professionals approach their work with a hacker's perspective. Whatever you can do, you are entitled to do. In fact, many IT pros don't even realize that their jobs involve these issues. Yet we make decisions on a daily basis that raise questions. Many of these issues that face IT professionals involve privacy. For example, should you read the private email of your network users just because you can? Is it okay to read employees' email as a security measure to ensure that sensitive company information isn't being disclosed? Is it okay to read employees' email to make sure that companies' rules, for instance, against personal use of the email system, aren't being violated? If you do read employees' email, you should disclose that policy to them before or after the fact. Is it okay to monitor the websites visited by your network users? Should you routinely keep logs of visited sites? Is it negligent to not monitor such internet usage to prevent the possibility of pornography in the workplace that could create a hostile work environment? Is it okay to place keyloggers on machines on the network to capture everything the user types? What about screen capture programs so you can see everything that is displayed? Should users be informed that they're being watched in this way? Is it okay for IT professionals to read documents and look at the graphic files that are being stored on users' computers or in their directories on the file server? Remember, we're not talking about the legal questions here. A company may very well have the legal right to monitor everything an employee does with its computer equipment. What I'm talking about are the ethical aspects of having the ability to do so. As a network administrator or security professional, you have rights and privileges that allow you to access most of the data on the systems on your network. You may even be able to access encrypted data if you have access to the recovery agent account. What you do with those abilities depends in part on your particular job duties. For example, if monitoring employee email is part of your official job description and on your personal ethical beliefs about these issues. From the list of privacy issues earlier, it is easy to justify each of these actions described, but it is also easy to see how each of those actions could change into a much less justifiable action. For example, information you gain from reading someone's email could be used to embarrass that person or gain a political advantage within the company, to get that person disciplined or fired, or even for blackmail. The slippery slope concept can go beyond using your IT skills. If it's okay to read another employee's email, is it also okay to go through their desk drawers when they aren't there, to open their briefcases or purses? What if you're snooping on a random document and it reveals a company's trade secret? What if later you leave the company and go work for a competitor? Is it wrong to use that knowledge in your new job? Would it be more wrong if you printed out those documents and took them with you than if you just relied on your memory? What if the documents you read show that the company was violating government regulations or laws? Do you have the moral obligation to turn them in, or are you ethically bound to respect your employer's privacy? Would it make a difference if you signed a non-disclosure agreement when you accepted the job? IT and security consultants who do work for multiple companies have even more issues to deal with. If you learn things about one of your clients that might affect your other clients, where does your loyalty lie? Then there are money issues. The proliferation of network hacks and attacks, viruses, and other threats to their IT infrastructures have caused many companies to be afraid, very afraid. As a security consultant, it may be easy to play on that fear to convince companies to spend far more money than they really need to. Is it wrong for you to charge hundreds or even thousands of dollars per hour for your services? Or is it just a case of whatever the market will bear? Is it wrong for you to mark up the equipment and software that you get for the customer when you pass the cost through? What about kickbacks from equipment manufacturers? Is it wrong to accept commissions from them for persuading your clients to go with their products? Or what if the connection is more subtle? Is it wrong to steer your clients towards products of companies in which you hold stock? Another issue involves promising more than you can deliver, or manipulating data to obtain higher fees. You can install technologies and configure settings. You can install technologies and configure settings to make a client's network more secure, but you can never make it completely secure. Is it wrong to talk to a client into replacing current firewalls with those of a different manufacturer, or switching to an open source operating system, which changes coincidentally will result in more billable hours for you on the premise that this is the answer to their security problem? Here's another scenario. What if a client asks you to save money by cutting some of the security measures that you recommended, yet your analysis of the client's security needs shows that sensitive information will be at risk if you do so? If you try to explain this to the client, but they are just adamant about it, should you go ahead and configure the network in a less secure manner? Should you eat the cost and install the extra security measures at no cost to the client, or should you just refuse the job? At the end of the day, there's a lot of good and a lot of bad that goes into being an IT security professional, and there's really no standardized way of going about it. It seems like it's just based off of your judgment, and I'm not really sure if that's the best way to go about things, because a lot is left in the air and left up to one single person. And that's the end of my assignment.